Welcome back, YouTube, to another episode here at WILDMAN Lives. I'm your host, WILDMAN. And on today's episode, I'm with my buddy Frank the Carnivore. Now, if you don't recall or remember Frank, that's okay. He has a very forgettable face. But we did an entire series back in the day called Training the Carnivore, okay? Because Frank's on the carnivore diet, and he's been on the carnivore diet for years, not like he just started doing this. And we wanted to see whether or not somebody who is on the carnivore diet, because I believe it's very restrictive in nutrients and necessary building blocks to build optimal strength and muscle, we wanted to see if I trained him the way that I would train most clients, would he be able to reach optimal strength through my training programs, and would he have enough building blocks and enough stamina and energy from his diet in order to get to, which we've done now and what we're filming, to conjugate. So just in case you don't know, Frank, you're on the carnivore diet, correct?
Yes.
It hasn't changed overnight.
That hasn't changed.
Okay. So give us a little recap what the carnivore diet is.
Okay. The carnivore diet is eating basically just meats. Now, I do say basically, there's different flavors of it. The simplest version is the lion diet. That's, if you hear that term, basically they're just eating red meat. Ruminant animals, salt and water. Okay?
Which is what people think. When they hear the term carnivore, they think meat, nothing else. Which I've learned that's not necessarily true.
That's not necessarily true. Usually, what most people do when they say they're on the carnivore diet is they'll eat probably 90 to 95% fatty meat, or preferably fatty meat. So like prioritizing red meat and eggs, those are the most nutritious, followed by chicken and pork and fish, right? But they'll usually also throw in dairy, so cheese, heavy whipping cream, half and half, if they don't like heavy whipping cream, stuff like that. And then they might throw in some fruit here and there, or honey or maple syrup, but they do try to stick to items that don't have ingredient lists, just whole foods. You know, the outside aisles of the grocery store, again, 90-95% is going to be fatty meat. Some of it's going to be cheese, some of it's going to be vegetables, not 6 servings, but you might throw in some broccoli for some flavor, right? It just depends on how strict you want to make it.
Yeah. So we've gone over that before. So I'm going to leave a link on this video that's going to, you can click on it. It'll go back to a time when Frank and I had a discussion about the carnivore diet in a lot more broader sense. So if you haven't seen that yet, check that out, because that's going to be super important if you want to follow along with what we're doing right now. So now the point of this whole series of what we're doing is I made a bet with Frank a long time ago that he would not be able to do conjugate while on the carnivore diet. And I believe you've upped your meat. Is that correct? Your meat intake?
By a lot. So
Okay.
The last time we were working out together, I was burning the candle at both ends. So I was training for a jiu-jitsu competition, and I had to cut weight for that while I was doing a strength training program, which is about 4 days a week at that time. And it was just, I felt my energy was fine, but my strength was flagging. And I was beginning to get some joint pains and back pain and things like that.
Inflammation.
Yeah. So what we're doing this time, and you recommended this, is only doing about 2 weightlifting sessions a week.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a new concept for me, but it has been working because we've been working together for a while. Do about 2 really intense weightlifting sessions a week, and increasing, I'm prioritizing your weightlifting program. I'm increasing the amount that I eat from, it was about 27 to 2,800 calories before. Now I'm eating anywhere as much as I want, but it usually falls in the range of 3,200 to 4,200 calories. So usually 3,500 to 4,000. I'm sitting at 180. I went from 170, eating this much food, I went from 170 to 180, and I plateaued at 180. I've got a little bit of a chub, but my energy's great. My strength has steadily been increasing. And so we'll just see if I can continue to increase in strength while maintaining low inflammation and joint pain, and if this can be carried over long term.
Which is good, because I recommend, even with people who are going to do conjugate, that they eat a mass amount of food. Even to the point where they might not be eating enough, even if they are eating enough food, like, and they're full every day, and they're like, I'm cramming food down my throat. I recommend people who are on the conjugate program to take like a weight gainer, right? Like that stuff you buy like at GNC or Vitamin Shop, where you chug those big old protein shakes and they have like a lot of calories in them, because you're going to be burning a lot of calories when you do conjugate. And just in case you guys don't know what conjugate is, I'm going to do a separate video after this, which is going to describe conjugate in more detail. But pretty much the only things you need to know about is it's very hard to do. It's extremely hard to do. And that was the strength program that I did to get where I'm at today, to get to my weight, to get to my strength level. I did conjugate, and I had to eat a lot of food. I had to put on a lot of weight, and I had to be patient, like years patient. And fortunately for you, mainly fortunately for you, I feel like I've kind of mastered the program a little bit better. That's more applicable for people who work like full-time jobs like we do, have families like we do, where you're not going to be able, if you're doing conjugate, I don't feel like it would be very good unless you're like a professional weightlifter. Like if you're getting paid by sponsors to go and do powerlifting meets, then really this program is going to really not benefit you because you've got other things that are going on. Like you said, you got the candle burning at both ends. You want it, your extracurricular hobby, which is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which is physically demanding, and then you also have strength training. And conjugate is really going to take over all of that. It's like cancer; it doesn't care. It just takes over.
Yeah.
So pretty much the way, and I'll go into another video. It's mainly a max effort day, right? And it's upper body and lower body is max efforts. Then you also have dynamic effort days, which is accommodating resistance, and the percentages are super low. But what I've kind of found is it's better to combine and to add a few more reps on the dynamic effort day and just include it into the max effort day and giant set format. So currently, and I'm going to go into this in another video, don't worry, I'm going to explain what conjugate is in its entirety, and then I'm also going to separate what WILDMAN does for his clients, because I find that to be a way better fit, and it's more conditioning and athleticism, and you get a lot more out of it than just building strength. But you've been doing this for how long? How many weeks have you been doing this?
We've already gone through phase 1. Yeah. So now it's about 6 weeks, 7 weeks.
Okay. And in the beginning, I had you not doing giant set, which you're still not doing giant set.
No, I'm still not doing giant set. The first, the beginning of the workout revolves entirely around whatever that one movement is. So like the back squat or the bench press, whatever it is. But then we will work into volume, which is still emphasizing that, and then rotations of rounds, which requires a lot of explosivity, checking my form, and movement, or truly if the skyrockets my heart.
Yeah.
So, but from my understanding though, starting in phase 3, you're probably going to start doing the giant set format in the heavy weightlifting portion, and that's really going to test me.
Yeah, it will. It should help in the strength portion technically. The volume portion, we're not doing giant set at all because volume is just too much. The volume is really the secret to conjugate. Building up to a 3-rep, 1-rep max is just kind of fun. Just kind of builds your central nervous system, and you're always doing a different implement. You're not always using a barbell. You're doing something different every single time. So then when you do the volume portion, that's when it starts to kind of not get fun. That's where the work is, right? Which we just worked out in our backyard earlier, in my backyard. And I think after the 3rd set of volume, your legs were giving out.
No. Second set, I still had one more. Right, second set, I still had one more. I was sitting down and I set a 5-minute timer because my stabilizers were beginning to give out, and you said it was because I was doing a good job and I was going a little below parallel. And you said I wasn't there because I was doing things wrong, but at the end of the day, I did have to take stabilizers. So I set a 5-minute timer before that last set of volume, and I let everything calm down. Then I got back up and I hit it as hard as I could.
Yeah. No, that's true. It was second set. And then 3rd set, you were like, I'm not going to parallel.
Yeah, I'm just like, I don't want my legs. I don't want them collapsing. What I want to do is I want this victory. I want this big W. I want to hit it with perfect form, and I want to explode up with power if I can.
Yeah, which that was good. I mean, in the end, any kind of volume is good volume. But yeah, we've been doing this for a minute, and so far so good. And you have up to your meat calories. So one thing we are going to do as well is I'm going to have Frank send me what he's eating, so I could give you an outline of, on the day he was training, what was in his diet. And that way, if you guys are on the carnivore diet and you want to try to follow along, then you can. And again, if you haven't even heard of the carnivore diet, then I'll leave some links in the video of our previous times that will show what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish here. But the bottom line is, by the time Frank gets to giant sets all the way from strength, volume, assistance, and accessory, we're going to see if his meat diet, the carnivore diet, is able to get him into the next level, because food is going to be the key to getting clients into the next level. And we'll see if there's enough there in that diet that's going to get them there. Because a lot of people, from what I understand, use the carnivore diet to actually cut weight. So that's a little concerning. But we're going to try it out because you know what? We're just two guys that like to lift weight. You have a diet that you like and it keeps you healthy and it makes you feel good. So we're just going to do it anyways.
Yeah, I'm going to see how far this can take
And if
me.
you die, you die.
If I die, I die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only get to live once, and at least I'm feeling good while I do it.
Exactly. So anyway, follow along in this series. This is going to be our final series because we've reached conjugate. This is what we set out to do. So we're going to do this, and Frank's taking it seriously. He's up in his diet, and we're going to give it our best shot. And hopefully, I actually want him to succeed. I don't think he will succeed, but I want him to succeed. So that's kind of where I'm at. So follow along. This is going to be our final series, and make sure you tune in every week and follow along with the journey. Really appreciate everybody stopping by, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.